Hello and welcome, everybody. We've got something pretty special here going on, so let's get right into it. So last time on the channel, I had Unlicensed Hearse and Fable the Mirror Breaker coming into the deck, trying to get some more interaction. And this kind of led me down this path of what if we actually cut Aether Vial? And I am like #1 Aether Vial fan, so this is extremely painful for me. But at the same time, it's been extremely successful. I played 3 leagues with this build, and I've gone 5-0, 3-2, 5-0, and my last 5-0 before that was like in like March. So pretty stark results change in how things have been. So basically I was like, okay, I'm in a results slump. What can I do to question basic assumptions about the deck building to get somewhere new? And Aether Vial was one of those things where it's like, well, it's obviously a staple of the deck, but if you look at the last video, I sided out really often. I think 4 out of 5 matches I sided out. And so if the metagame is Reanimator, Key, Ring decks, Nadu, those are all matchups I don't want Vial in my deck. And so I was like, well, if the blue-black tempo matchup, which is normally I'm like, okay, that's the best matchup for Vial in the format currently. If the blue-black tempo matchup is still functional after cutting Vial, then that might just make the deck stronger in general. And I tested the blue-black matchup, and I think it's fine to cut Vial. I still haven't tested against blue-red Delver, which might be an issue, but at the same time, the deck has some major tools now. So by opening up 4 slots on Vial and sort of recalibrating the 2-drops, we've got open slots for, so basically the number of 1-drops I want to stay the same. I don't want to raise the curve. But now I have 2 lightning bolts as ways to kill turn 1 Tameo that are on color. So Fatal Push, which I have played previously, has the issue of obviously forcing a deeper splash and also being purely reactive and also not hitting planeswalkers. You know, bolt at least if they flip the Tameo, you can bolt it and then attack for 1. And then obviously it's reach at your opponent's face, which does matter. I added the bolts. I added a Pilferer and a Mog Fanatic. I initially had 2 Pilferers, and then I was like, okay, I was thinking about Blue-Red Delver again. Mog Fanatic as an additional way to answer turn 1 DRC does seem relevant, and also Mog Fanatic combines with Expert as another Tameo answer. And then we go to 4 Ancient Tombs. So the acceleration, we're basically sort of replacing Vial with Ancient Tomb as sort of our mana acceleration because the metagame really demands playing our 3-drops on turn 2 rather than uncounterably with Flash on turn 4. Like Broadside and House Squad aren't cards that are particularly exciting with Flash. You're going to main phase 1 them most of the time anyway, if you have them in your hand. So you'd be vialing stuff in your main phase all the time. Whereas, back in the day, you would have more Pashlik, War Chief you would set up so that you vialed it in with a bunch of mana open so you can then cast a bunch of stuff with the mana discount. Sharpshooter you would want to end of turn if you could help it. There was just more utility with the Vial, the flash of Vial. And also the fact that there is just not that many Wraths anymore. This is certainly going to be a deck that's going to be worse against Supreme Verdict and Terminus by virtue of the fact that I kind of have to commit on board. Hearse helps a little bit with that, but for the most part, we're jamming. And so now I haven't noticed a worse control matchup, but it's just like it's tricky. It's hard to say because there isn't. I've played against control, like Beanstalk control and then Jeskai control twice, and it felt great. But I didn't really get wrathed because those decks don't even really play wraths that much. Though there is that Yorion Beanstalk deck that has two Supreme Verdicts and Solitudes. That matchup's probably not very good for this build. So I think the main insight here is that you can go for Ancient Tombs, but you don't have to play Chromoxes. I think that's something I really enjoy finding out, because I think the once you go as deep as Chromox, you need to build your deck differently, or you need to have more ways to make up for card disadvantage, and you become kind of exposed to shatter / naturalize effects more than I would like. And here, in the main deck, we've only got the two Hearses, that care about something like Karn or Oof or Beseiju, that sort of thing. So you just care about a smaller range of interaction in game one. And then post-board, we've got Chalices. The Chalices, I think, have been really key, as I kind of talked about in last video. So just to say, this list has evolved a little bit where the first 5-0, I had 2 Pilfers, and then I had a Sting Scourger instead of a Crater Maker. And then what I did is I just cut Sting Scourger because its power is sort of dependent on Vial, not just because you want instant speed for stuff like Marrow Age, but also, in the Entomb Reanimate situation, what Sting Scourger allowed was if you played a turn 1 Vial, when they Entomb Reanimated, you could generally play Matron the turn after. Matron get Sting Scourger and Vial and Sting Scourger, bounce the Atraxa. And obviously you're not favored from there because, you've had to spend a card and on a thing that they probably drew 4 cards off the Atraxa. Now they did spend 2 cards to get into play, so it's like not a horrific exchange, but it's not great. Now, so obviously the Vial is a big part of the equation there. If you cast Matron and then pass, Matron for Sting Scourger pass, you're just like getting Thought Seized on that next turn 99% of the time, or you're Cavern Wastelanded, or or the game just progresses to the point where the Atraxa hitting you once kind of swings the game out of your favor too far. So it has to be like a 1-turn thing. So I fit Crater Maker into the main deck to fit a second Red Elemental Blast in, because I really hate Tamiyo. So I'm going to run a league here. I also had a 5-0 in Dual Commander, which was cool. So I had a really good day of Magic last night, just 10-0. And we're going to see how this goes. All right, here for round 1 on the draw. All right, pretty weak hand here. No acceleration, no 1-drop. Okay. It's interesting. Hearse or I guess it's Ringleader or Sling Gang. Sling Gang Zoo with Pashlik. But, it's a genuine choice. I think it's probably putting Sling Gang back. Could regret that. We'll see. Oh god, it's Death Shadow. Yeah, I'm gonna regret putting back Sling Gang against Death Shadow. Mog Fanatic. Alright, let's just play the Hearse. I haven't seen Death Shadow in a while. That's a funny way to flip Tamiyo. Street Wraith Ponder, maybe? Okay, I'm not getting Wastelanded. That's neat. No, I guess it's just Clue. This card's too easy to flip. It's kind of stupid. Wasteland is not going to be particularly helpful. Probably gets dazed. Yep. Thoughtseize, yep. Man, you know what's really going to be good post boards? Chalice of the Void. And the Shadow. Alright. That was a very, very strong hand. Tamio ults 2 turns from now. Kind of fucked up. Completely useless magic card. I have to surveil into something. I could like trade my hearse with Death Shadow, but that doesn't seem like it's worth anything. I have kind of come to the belief that Tamio is very much inevitably getting banned in Legacy for the same reason that Arcanist Frog, Ran in 6, all that stuff was banned too. It's just the same exact logic. You can't give Blue Deck's card advantage. And Wasteland. Don't think I have any outs here. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can survive a turn with an expert, but then I'm just back in the same exact situation. Lightning Bolt. That technically buys me 2 turns. What am I trying to find? Bombardiers. I do actually have lethal if I draw Bombardiers, right? Because that's 1, 2, 6. No, I'm 1 short. That sucks. Stupid Tamio. 1 damage short with the Bombardiers. Bombardiers does set the Tamio down. Very theoretically could block Death Shadow and then die anyway. I can't attack because it'll be a 5/6 against a 6/6. All right, I think I have to find something else. I'm not sure what that is, but it's something. Hordemaster does not do anything, I think. Force of Will. No, shadows are too big. Yeah, I'm dead. Okay, yeah, turn 1 Tameo, flip it immediately, wins the game. Shocker. Okay. All right, Fnatic's not great. We definitely want the Chalices. Experts, Crater Maker's kind of weak. I like Lackey against Shadow in general, but Hearse might not be amazing actually in this matchup. Do 1 Hearse. Try this. Maybe cutting Experts wrong, but I kind of want my top end still because of Thoughtseize and like if you do get Muxus in play against this deck, they just lose. Surveil into heavy. No Cavern. Sucks. But Dismember's quite good in the matchup. This is like a reluctant keep, I guess. Having a lot of lands isn't terrible, as long as we can draw action. I probably will Dismember a turn 1 Tameo. Okay. I play this around days. Surveil first, then Dismember on the next turn. That lets me. So this is really the key thing. Is like, am I playing around days or not? Maybe I do play around days here. The problem is that heavy, if they daze the Dismember and then the heavy resolves, the heavy isn't that good against Flip Tameo. I'm gonna Surveil. Second heavy's good. Okay. So then we house squad around days, house squad around days. Okay. Son of a bitch. They're not wasting. Let's preserve our cavern. Oh shit, I needed to fetch. I'm gonna fall for the oldest trick in the book. Okay, never mind. Get the sense they drew that land because I think they would have wastelanded me if they had a land. They're probably holding the wasteland for clue cracking purposes. Wow, they're just not wastelanding me. That seems kind of crazy to do, personally. Now I get thoughts used. Guess I should have just caverned out the house squad. I don't know. And flip the Tameo. All right, so I have to draw a Reb right now. Yeah, Reb. It sucks. Sucks a lot. Let's waste Wasteland. I want my cavern to stick around, or my tomb to stick around. Wraith. Murktide. Third Tameo. Murktide. So I'm dead. This is only a 5/5. Alright, Red Elemental Blast, please. How about another land? Alright, well, I kept a 5-lander, and I drew a couple too many lands after getting Thoughtseized. I think I'm dead now. I guess I could draw Muxus. The only thing I could have done differently in this game is cavern out the first house squad. But given how this has played out, I'm not sure it would matter. I would have a couple tokens. So Battlecry would be a live draw if I had used a cavern. Did they know about cavern? They did. Okay, I probably should have played the cavern. Big draw? Pashlik, ain't it? Alright. Yeah, probably should have used the cavern. Can't afford to let myself get Force of Will, but I don't know. I felt like no, it makes sense that they held Force of Will if they had a second Tameo. Tameo's really stupid. Is my call that we didn't. I don't know. Could have kept a better hand, obviously. The Thoughtseizes were really timely. Like for most of that game, Thoughtseize didn't do anything. It's just the only turn that I had one important spell in my hand. Because if it was turn 2 Thoughtseize, I would have just drawn the other house god and probably just caverned to that. League matchmaking failed. I guess there's something to be said that in game 1, the Mog Fanatic could have been a third Lightning Bolt, which is something I've been thinking about. Just more answers to Tameo. That are very direct. But Fanatic being a goblin, like Fanatic is a Lightning Bolt off of Broadside Bombardiers. Alright, we're on the draw again, just not great. This hand's pretty good though. I like this hand a lot. Have fun, good luck. Okay, I expected to die on turn 1. Okay, Scalding Tarn, pass. I'm just going to fetch Mountain. And I'm going to play Skirk Prospector. Reason being, I want to be able to tomb out Matron next turn around days. Okay, so this is either Delver or Sneak and Show. Given this hand, I might actually be better against Sneak and Show. No plays. Oh. Food chain? I guess that's fine. I have a bunch of removal, so I want a threat. Battlecry looks kind of good here. Could get a ringleader. I don't mind ringleader. Let's do ringleader. Okay, definitely food chain. Horde Master's pretty good. Force of Will, pitch, tune the narrative. Wow, they're really doing energy stuff. Okay. So pay 2 energy, exile top card and play it until you exile another card. Okay. Cool. Card on top. All right. Annoying that these are artifacts that I can't Critter Maker. Trash Master would be good here. Okay, already made a land drop. Muxus is exciting. Let's do this. This. And I think play the Fanatic. Hopefully I don't get Furied here. Sure. This is really an energy deck. Let's see what I get. Wasteland, okay. Kind of wanted that. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're kind of close to dead. Okay. Might shoot my Crater Maker. I take 2. They shoot Matron. Oh, I guess they get a card this way. Okay. It's kind of crazy. It's a lot of galvanic discharges. All right, give me a land deck. It's going to be close. Food chain. Okay. Nothing to go with it. Do I bolt now? I think I do. Do I do both bolts? I don't think I do both bolts. All right, you can't forceful. Broadside, double broadside, we did it. We did it. I guess if they have another energy card, maybe I die to these. Oh my god. If I Fanatic my own guy, does this fizzle? I think they can only deal 4 damage, though. Alright, that doesn't work. Birds confirmed is nice to see. That was close. Void Mirror doesn't do anything. Flute doesn't really do anything. We'll take the Trash Master. I guess Birds, I'll play Fury. Reb is probably okay. Chalice might be good, but Chalice might be worse than our other 1-drops. You just have to keep that Nombo in mind. They're probably an Uro deck. I guess I did see, they're playing 4 Galvanic whatever they're called. Galvanic Discharge. Ice Fang Quaddle. I don't want Dismember. I don't want Void Mirror. That's just Force of Will. I guess it stops their Furies, but also stops my Fury and Pyrokinesis. A lot of spot removal. I think I will cut Hearses, and if I die to Uro, I die to Uro. I do want the Rebs. Maybe cut Pilferer, Crater Maker, and maybe a Skirk. Sure. Okay, this hand's pretty threat light, which could be a problem, but maybe Horde Master will draw us into something. Probably gonna Wasteland turn 1. Now I might not do that. But given that they're a mana dork deck, and I can bolt a dork if I want to, and I have a lot of looks at more lands, I think this is okay. Okay. Because I feel like red is probably their critical color for this matchup. Oh, okay. We're doing this. I'm not sure I would call this good strategy, but all right. It's kind of okay to build up cards in hand when I have 2 pitch cards. So we're going to Surveil, look for a land. Okay, they got their stuff. Lackey. Lackey's actually quite good. Because I can bolt Ice Fang Quaddle this turn still. Because I'm concerned about Quaddle, then Food Chain, then kill me. No Quaddle. Okay. Alright, Wastelands were not particularly effective. Okay. Land. Nice. Consign. Kind of sucks. But I think we're still okay. Amulet. Amped Raptor. Okay, but they don't have red mana currently. Land is great, so we can play Sling Gang. Sling Gang into Horde Masters, kind of a lot. This is a cool build of food chain, just like really leaning into the double amped raptors, kind of sick. But you don't cast it? What does that say? That's a metric ton of damage. Opponent might have a Coatl. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, plus 6 goblins. It's very close to lethal, but it's not lethal. And it would put me shields down on this bolt. I think I do this. Nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I think I pass. Borrower. Okay. Food chain. All right, let's pyro. See if I can save my bolt for face. Okay. Nice. All right. Opponent didn't quite have the creatures to go with the food chain. All right. All right, back for round 3. We're on the draw again. This hand. This hand. My opponent's moto results are only with Mystic Forge. That's sort of a nightmare. But I guess that makes me want to keep. Grim Monolith. Chalice? Oh, Cavern of Souls. Saving me. Could still lose to like Fleshraker because I can't bolt. I guess I could trade. I could trade it. Well, then I can't deploy another lackey, so that would kind of suck. Oh, it's actual Eldrazi. Line breaker. Okay. Hold back on blocks. You know, that's pretty good. Let's hide that from a wasteland. Do wish this chalice wasn't blanking this lightning bolt, but I guess if this bolt was neither vial, it would be the same. Wasteland's kind of a bummer. Now I can't draw Munitions Expert. Another line breaker. Okay. You attack. No, the lackey respect. No! Oh, that's a devastating draw. Need to find a Bombardier's. Ivugan. Blue. Main deck Wastegate Battle Mage is crazy. I think I'm dead now. I don't think I can draw anything that kills the blocker here. These have trample. Yeah, no. Chow's got me. Even with the cavern, kind of sucks. It's one of those win on the play games. Void Mirror is kind of situational. Don't want Hearse. Void Mirror slows them down. We can cut Mog Fanatic. I'll try the Void Mirror. Cut a Battle Cry. And Lacky's really good on the play. Maybe another Battle Cry. Sure. It's a little bit clunky, but turn 1 Prospector, turn 2 Expert is still like pretty good. Have a Wasteland. It's kind of the core component parts. Devourer of Destiny. All right. Could end up just wasting on 2 depending on what I draw. They have Ugin. That's horrifying. Hate that card. Chalice? Sure. Matron. This is sort of the key turn, I feel like, is this decision right here. Waste or no waste. And also, what am I doing in terms of play? Like, I could sack Skirk to cast the Matron, get Bombardiers. It's really bad against Thoughtnuts here. It's also bad against Wasteland. It's not that bad, though. They Wasteland my Wasteland. And then I have the Expert on the next turn. I don't generally want to Wasteland Ancient Tomb because the life loss matters so much in this matchup. I'm gonna get Bombardiers. This also opens up, if I draw Ancient Tomb, then I can Wasteland plus Bombardiers, which is pretty backbreaking. This kind of cuts off. Okay. This is fine. As long as I draw a land in the next 2 draws. Okay, Battlecry's pretty good. Okay. Petal. It's fine. Kind of have to take the Bombardiers, and then I have lots of good draws, and they had to spend a petal to do that. Alright, deck, give me an Ancient Tomb. That is a horrible draw. I can attack with Matron here pretty freely. And I'll still hold up Expert. Because I can prevent an attack with holding up Expert. Okay. It's a lot of life loss. You gotta bounce my guy. Sure. Now Ancient Tomb is even better. I think I just win the game on the spot if I draw Ancient Tomb. Or Pyrokinesis. Fury. Okay, land is at least something. Opponent's at 7, so they need to kill my Battlecry. Thought-Knot doesn't really do anything. I just want to surveil into another land. These Ancient Tombs are basically offline now. Can't cast Dismember. I think I actually just have lethal. House Squad is okay, but land is better. Okay. Cool. Battlecry was good. Maybe I want second Battlecry in there. Cut a lackey on the draw. If they're leaving in Chalices even on the draw, they obviously have them in on the play. So my only like one drop that always gets chaliced is Bolt, and then I have 6 Cavernable guys. That seems good. Okay, Sand's a little weak to a Thought-Knot Seer, but it's good against Chalice. Exiled 3 lands. That's good info. Okay. Maybe this lackey eats a Dismember. Battlecry is pretty solid. No Dismember. Temple. Fleshraker. Fleshraker plus Petal could be really bad for me. Oh, Kozilek's Command for 1. Yeah, that's never my favorite. Broadside of Bombardiers. Okay. Let's fetch another basic. I don't want to get wastelanded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're 1 mana short Devour mana. It's kind of scary. Fleshraker. That's very scary. Jesus Christ. Alright, I need a Pyrokinesis, like, right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so they can cast Devour next turn. They also have this number. Okay. Okay. Pyrokinesis. Expert. Hmm. Gonna be kind of hard to get out of this one now. I guess I dismember a token or a Flesh Raker and hope to surveil. Surveil into Tomb gives me. I can kill Devourer. Ooh. Okay. No Kozilek's command, please. Whew. So do they cast Devour on an empty board? They don't. Pilfer is not bad. 1, 2, 3, so 4, 5, 6, 7. So even if I kill both spawns somehow, the Devourer is going to get me. So I think I run out House Squad. Pilfer, get 2 damage in at least. Get my token. And I'm looking to draw stuff like Sling Gang. Any 4-drop actually is what I want. Okay, they're flooding. They do get a 6/6 big guy. Yeah. Crater Maker would be good. Bombardiers. Bombardiers can't attack. Can't attack this turn. Right. Yeah, I just have to hold back. We're very close. Yeah, they're really flooding. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they can Ivugan and get a Flesh Raker and cast it. I think that'll be sort of a disaster for them, though. I think they die if they do that. Attack? Okay, take 6. This is pretty good. Force the action on the Ivugan pre-combat. I think I have 12. 4, 6. So 5 damage plus 5 plus 3. Yeah, I have lethal. Whew. They had a really good sequence there at Double Flesh Raker. I thought I was dead, but... Bombardiers carry. Whew. Very close. Very close match. Alright, here in round 4. Recognize my opponent's username, but I can't remember what for. I think Delver, which makes this hand somewhat appealing. The Muxus is kind of a brick, but turn 1, Bolt into Cavern Battlecry. It's not bad. Might be Cavern Hordemaster, actually. Okay. So no turn 1 DRC. Interesting. Interesting. I want to find a 1-drop so I can Wasteland. Another land is somewhat appealing. That also sort of allows the Wasteland to happen. I'm worried, well, if they had Steel Cutter, would they have played Bauble? Like, second Bauble? I think I'm going to top the land. I think I am going to want a land this game. It's kind of good to guarantee it. It's not like I'm looking for anything, like, looking for Lackey or Skirk is, like, fairly specific. And now do I Wasteland? Very interesting question. I think the Wasteland's probably bad. I think I'm going to play Hordemaster because if it gets dazed, that sets them back, and then I can do my Wasteland. And I think I'm going to commit to Badlands. No, I want to make sure I have at least one red source. You know, they kind of incentivized to counter this because they would rather not give me a card off of a bolt, potentially. But yeah, I'm kind of guessing no Steel Cutter based on double bubble turn 1. No bolt. Fascinating. Because if they have a third bobble, then I'm kind of screwed. Okay. Opponent's starting to feel a little land light, given this sequencing. Ancient Tomb would be pretty good. Wasteland. Okay. Ooh, that's a punish for, well, not a punish. Honestly, it does feel like my opponent doesn't have a land. Or maybe it only has one other land. I feel like wastelanding me there after brainstorming is kind of weak. I'm going to wasteland. Obviously, it feels bad when I just drew a 4-drop and I have a 6-drop in my hand, but I think card quantity might not be the axis this game is fought on. Trop. Okay. Lackey's really good. They don't have another red source. They're like pretty screwed. Hmm. 4/4 Murktide. Oh, okay. Land? Nice. Battlecry is less important than the Lackey here, I think. They'll probably force this. Yeah. Kind of wish I played this Battlecry on turn 2 rather than the Horde Master. Wasteland. Okay. Definitely missing red. Delver. Waste me. Alright, I'm bolting this Delver. Got another force. You do not. Got a Vapor Snag. Kaboom! Sheesh! Oh boy. Vial 5 out of... How much... So that Goblin Lackey made 19 mana and drew like 8 cards. All right, so this is good. I've been wanting to test this matchup. Don't think I need Dismember. Now this is probably the matchup where the Chalice non-bow matters the most, potentially. It kind of makes the Pyrokinesis better to board in. You can cut the Skirks. Creator Maker, let's cut Ringleader. We're just going to be as low to the ground as possible. Creator Maker answers Delver, but that's about it. It's probably the weakest removal spell. I like all my other cards. Hers can be a little slow in the draw, but it is really good at stopping DRC from having Delirium more than anything else. I don't think I want Trash Master for Corey Steel. Rug might not even play Corey Steel. Maybe I trim 1 Chalice, because I do have 10 1-drops. And then 1 Lackey. Pilfer is probably worse than Lackey most of the time, though. Sand's great. Doesn't cast Bolt, but this has a very clear game plan. Okay. It's generally what you don't want to see with the Sand. Drew the Mountain. This is a very key decision. Bolt the Delver or not. If I play Hearse, I'd rather Hearse get dazed, but they probably don't daze the Hearse. If the Delver flips, I'm taking 5. I'm going to let them crack the bauble on end step. Okay, cool. So they didn't have daze. DRC, okay. Another mountain. Do I continue to not play around days? I think so. I think playing out this tomb would be pretty dangerous. I guess this is the downside. They get 4 looks at days here. And probably hit Delirium. Actually, basically, certainly hit Delirium. If they don't hit the days here, then I think we're in good shape. Force of Will would kind of be a bummer, given 2 caverns, but... Let's see. Damn, alright. Could have played around it. Definitely could have played around it. But taking 2 damage does matter quite a bit off of the tomb. I want to avoid tapping tomb a lot, and we had the read on no days based on the bolt resolving on the Delver. Alright, that's a very large... 8 cards in the graveyard on turn 3 is kind of a lot. Let's see, do you have a follow-up? Mill Questing Druid is kind of... They have Murktide too. Jeez. Alright, so that's a pretty perfect hand. You probably still have Delirium too. Del 5? No, okay, so you don't have Delirium, but it's a 6/6. Okay. We're in trouble. Land was not what I'm looking for. They just need an instant. I think I need to play this Horde Master and then Surveil. Badlands, nope. Yep. Man, I don't think even if I tuned out the Hearse, I don't think I get to stop Murktide. Because they just had too many Surveil triggers. And the Wasteland. Alright, I really have to draw a Reb. And a Delver. Alright, that's a super aggressive hand. I'm just dead. Alright, got run over. Chalice is better on the play. Lackey's better on the play. Let's cut Pilfer. cut pyrokinesis. Okay, this hand has 2 tombs, but I think it's pretty good, actually. Double bobble again. Bobble me, bobble yourself. Mog Fanatic probably stopping turn 1 DRC here. Love to see it. Horde Master. Really want to cast Matron this turn, even though it walks into a daze. Hopefully it's not Hydroblast. Kind of feels like Hydroblast, though. Wow. Okay. Also daze? Okay. DRC's still not delirious. Yeah. Force 2. Okay. It's trying to spike a sorcery or creature. No dice. Does cost me 2 life. Okay, I think we're in decent shape now. Second DRC would be a problem. But they're so far behind on mana. I'm actually going to surveil first. Because if they bolt, I'll put a creature on top, potentially. That's a little awkward if there's a non-creature on top of my deck that I want to draw, but then I could just not play the Horde Master. It seems kind of bad. So I'm looking for Sling Gang, looking for House Squad, looking for Bombardiers, Brainstorm. Okay. I'm really vulnerable to a Murktide plus Force here, because I've just flooded out a little bit. I need like one relevant spell. One more relevant spell, rather. Ooh, okay. No Murktide. Hello. Hello, Matron. A little bit awkward that if I want to Matron for Expert, I have to tap the Tomb, which means I take 2 damage against Force of Will, kind of for no reason. And being at 12 is an increment of 3. I mean, or I go to 13, actually. Maybe that's okay. Resolves, okay. Let's get expert. You force that? No? Okay. Do kind of wish I'd jump home Incinerator there. Still no land. Delver. Cool. Alright, I'm not going to fetch. Okay, Lanky's not exciting. Alright, you're at 6. Opponent's mana development really hindering them a lot this game. Delver. Flip to Force of Will. Okay, I'm not sure that does anything. Nice. Okay, don't know what I would draw. Close one. Another close one. Alright, we're playing for the 4-1. Alright. I've played against this person many times. I'm pretty sure it's Mystic Forge, so I'm going to keep. Got a pretty good hand against Mystic Forge. Lackey Wasteland, Battlecry, second Lackey, Bolt for Fleshraker. Obviously, still die to a lot of things, but... Alright, so we lost to Shadow. We've beat Eldrazi, Delver, and Food Chain. Kind of nice not to play against blue-black, huh? Well, I say Reanimator. The Shadow deck was kind of just... I guess Street Wraith to flip Tamiya was like kind of neat, but it's just like, oh, the best creature in the format is a little bit better now. Yippee. I was thinking about it. I do feel a lot better against Forge than I used to with our sideboard. Like Chalices to stop the keys. We've got just two flutes and a Void Mirror. Void Mirror is just really good against them. I found it's actually better than Null Rod a lot of the time because, well, it doesn't stop them from drawing a bunch of cards with One Ring if the One Ring is already in play, but it drastically reduces their ability to actually cast all the cards in their hand. They can basically cast one spell a turn. And that deck doesn't really function that well casting one spell a turn. Because they can't cast Petals, so they can only cast spells off of Planar Nexus and Mox Opal, which they can fetch Mox Opal off of Urza Saga, but since you don't care about any of their other mana production, your Wastelands can be saved for Sagas and Nexuses. Opponent really thinking about this hand. If we get to go Lackey, put in Battlecry, cast second Lackey, Wasteland you, I feel like we're very favored from that spot. So it's really going to hinge on this first turn. First turn of theirs. If it's turn with Fleshraker, we can beat that too. The nice thing about Battlecry is that you're good at drawing lands or spells. Ooh, it is not Mystic Forge. All right. just gonna jam everything. We still have Bolt up if we really need it. I have to go Tameo Brainstorm on. Oh, it's just a different Grim Monolith deck. All right. Yeah. Yeah. God damn it. Okay. Um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so I'm going to activate here to get my Battlecry token. Means I don't have Bolt up, but that probably doesn't matter. We do have Lethal next turn. Okay. I think we win. Uh, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, go to 1. And then you can't. I'll just bolt you. You can't force a will. Cool. Okay, so blue. So probably paradoxical outcome. Chalice is going to be probably better. Void Mirror is obviously going to be worse, but it still slows down Grim Monolith quite a bit, so I'll still bring it in. Ringleader's out. Bolts, I think, are going to be probably not necessary. I do like the reach. Well, okay. I'm gonna check what like Jewel combo looks like. There's Metamorphs. Okay, there's no. Yeah, okay. Okay, so Pyrokinesis Fury don't actually have targets. I will keep in bolts in case if they board in the Lodestone Golems. The Show and Tells kind of makes me want Ringleader. I can cut an Expert. I'll have to cut a lot of cards. Okay. Fnatic can go. All right, we'll cut the bolts. I don't think there are that many. There's very few targets. All right, this hand is not the move. Okay, Rib plus Flute is all right. I'm going to put back Bombardiers. Saga, turn 1 sucks. Chromox. Pitching Chain of Vapor. Okay, Monolith, sure. Ooh. Now that's a tough decision. The Saga constructs get pretty big, but I can Trash Master them if my Trash Master gets into play. Pretty easy to lose to the One Ring if I Hmm. I think I have to flute the Saga. Which is not my favorite. Because the Saga's going to get a key. That makes this monolith kind of like infinite mana. But then maybe we can get Trashmaster down. Play One Ring. Jewel. Okay. Need to dodge Metamorph here. No, they Metamorph. Okay. That's a really good hand. If I had held up Reb, we'd actually be fine, probably. Maybe it's just to just hold up Reb and then flute on 2, still holding up Reb. Okay, kind of bricked, I guess. Discard Saga Ancient Tomb, another Matron. All right, I think I have to hold up Reb now. It's like mandatory. Even though resolving a creature would obviously be really nice. Yep. Yep. Alright, didn't matter. Double force. Yeah. Okay, that was not particularly impressive. Ooh, well, you're really good next turn if I get next turn. This probably gets Force of Willed. Stupor, okay. Is their hand just all mana? Counterspells? Okay. Draw more cards. 7 mana. More cards. This is 4, 8, 12. I think they have Emrakul mana now. Okay. Okay. Chalice is actually not that exciting. Like there's one key. I guess I can put on 0 for the Moxes. That actually might be better because the blue count in this deck is not high. Alright. What could I have done? I could have done... Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to be that hand. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm putting Chalice on 0. They mold a 5. Probably turn 2 heavy, hopefully turn 3 Trashmaster. Like, I can stop key. Let's really think about this. I can stop key. We know there's at least 1 key. But there might not be that many more. And we know there's probably 4 Chrome Mox. I'm going to Chalice on 0. They're Force of Willing on 5 cards. I'm not upset about it. Okay. Okay. All right. Really want to see a red. Oop, no. Kind of need to see a red source next turn. It's like really, really important. We do have max speed in 2 turns. Saga. Okay. Pass. Okay. Red source. Nice. What does that float mean? Is Battlecry activate better here? I'm like thinking about. No, I should get the Trash Master in play. Okay, that's fine. Nice. All right. Yeah, we just had too much pressure. All right, nice 4-1 there after getting kind of bullied by turn 1 Tameo into Tameo Wasteland after a Dismember. But that puts me at what, 17-3 with this list, which is obviously super encouraging. We had some good matches. The Mog. So what was the difference here? The Mog Fanatic could have been a Bolt, but it was better as Mog Fanatic once and worse as Mog Fanatic once, where it couldn't kill Tameo, but it kind of put my opponent into a awkward pattern. Where they ended up unholy heating my Mog Fanatic in order to be able to deploy DRC that then got munitions experted. So Bolt wouldn't have traded as well. I would have had like redundant removal. So like that's like the nice thing about Mog Fanatic is that it's like both a bit of a threat and a removal spell. That's why those types of creatures are always so useful, which is why I feel like, you know, as soon as Goblins, as soon as they power creep Mog Fanatic and give us like just straight up Mog Fanatic that deals 2 damage, it's probably going to be a 4 of in the deck. That's what we always wished Tarfire was. But obviously Tarfire is unplayable now because Shock doesn't kill enough things, and it, you know, doesn't cast off of Cavern, and it makes Barrogoyf absolutely enormous. You know, obviously, if Tameo had 2 toughness, I would be playing 2 Tarfires instead of... I'd probably be playing 3 Tarfires. Because there are some shock targets, like Fleshraker. Bolt's got Chaliced a couple times, but they were also good number of times. Hearst got dazed in that game versus Delver, but it was kind of hard to beat a Delver draw that aggressive. The only thing I think I could have done differently is like turn 1 Hearst, then maybe I needed to turn 1 Hearst just because I know that Hearst drops off, or like if you don't play Hearst on turn 1, it isn't that good at stopping Murktide and to a lesser extent DRC. It is pretty important to play on turn 1 to keep up with their rate of filling their graveyard. So maybe I was supposed to turn 1 Hearse, turn 2 Bolt Delver. Or Cavern Heavy. Probably not Cavern Heavy. Probably Bolt Delver, which gives me this sort of mana inefficient. But yeah, we played against... I think the only matchup where I think I would have missed Vial would maybe be Shadow, because Shadow is such a polar deck, where Vial would really shine because they have pretty minimal answers to Vial, and it kind of messes up their whole plan pretty badly. But at the same time, you know, like if we had drawn Chalice in... We really didn't ever draw Chalice, which is kind of annoying. But obviously, you know, it worked out. But yeah, I'm gonna do a sideboard guide for this list. I'm actually really happy with it. All the cards are doing what I want them to do. Battlecry has really shown like incredible utility in this metagame. The hearses feel great. Obviously, we didn't see them that much in this league, but that was just sort of slightly unusual matchups. I think, you know, as soon as you run this Reanimator, you're like, oh, Hearse is awesome because I cannot die to Entomb on turn 2. And then obviously it has a whole bunch of other utility. So I'm going to get to work on a Patreon sideboard guide for this. I think it's this exact deck list. I don't think I really want to change anything. I think there's an argument for Hordemaster to be something else, but I'm not sure what it would be. Like, you could make an argument for Pile Driver, but I like that Hordemaster gives me a little bit of extra card advantage, because I do, you know, you can flood out, and so having something that provides you additional cards as your stuff dies, and it's like good with Mog Fanatic, it's good with Pilfer, good with Skirk, good with Crater Maker. These things that incidentally kill themselves is nice. It makes crewing a little bit easier. Obviously not by itself, but turning any 1/1 into Crew Hearse is pretty good. And if you're choked on mana, it's damage output that's a little bit cheaper than Battlecry, even though Battlecry has a higher ceiling. All right, I will catch you all next time. Probably another video soon, but this sideboard guide. So please check out the Patreon. Sign up if you want that sideboard guide. It's $5. I haven't been posting it very much lately because I've been really trying to figure out a good deck list, and I don't like putting stuff on the Patreon if I'm not like really confident that I'm giving good advice. But I feel like this is the way. So thank you all for watching. Subscribe, like the video, all that stuff. And we'll see you next time.